So hi guys, welcome back to another video. So as you can see in this video, I'm actually going to tell you guys how to properly hip thrust. As I spend quite a lot of time at the gym, I see so many people who actually do this movement wrong, and they're just kind of not doing it the correct way of how you should obviously do it to help you obviously get gradually better at hip thrusting. So today I'm just going to quickly show you guys the right positioning of what you guys need to do, as well as a certain equipment of what you will need for this exercise. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit a like and please subscribe if you are new, and keep watching. So first things first is, when you obviously come down to obviously start doing your hip thrust, you need to make sure that you obviously get a barbell and you need to choose the correct weight for yourself. Here I'm going straight in with 120 kilograms, but again I have been hip thrusting for about 2 to 3 years. So if you guys, this is the brand new exercise for you, maybe just try with the bar. Start off with the bar, make sure your position is correct, which I'm just about to go into, and you guys can just add weight when necessary. I always put extra weights next to me just in case I feel like this weight is just too light for me. But again, I usually tend to warm up with either 100 kg or 120 kg as well. Recently, I do feel like hip thrusting is the best progressive overload exercise you can get, and it really helps focus on your glutes. Like if I look back like a few years ago and look at my glutes from then to now, the difference is mental, and it's because I've spent so much of the time hip thrusting and doing other lower body exercises. But I definitely feel like hip thrusting is the best progressive overload exercise that you can get. So now I'm going to quickly just give you guys a few tips on what you need to make sure that you're doing when you are hip thrusting. So first things first is, you need to always make sure that you have a barbell pad. You can probably pick these up on Amazon for really cheap, and I know a few companies also sell them themselves, like Gymshark, My Protein, so I might link those below for you guys to go and have a look. If you guys haven't got a barbell pad, no worries at all. You can just tend to grab a small mat from the gym and wrap it around the bar. Sometimes when I've forgotten my barbell pad, this is the option that I go for. It's not as comfortable, but it gets me through the range of motion, so I do often do that. And you need to also make sure that you are choosing the right box to hip thrust off. So I tend to use these boxes here, which you can see that I'm using. At the moment I'm hip thrusting off the one green box, but I've currently been hip thrusting off the 2 blue box, which is a little bit higher. If I can find it, I'll make sure I write all the details for you down below, just so that I can get a few different range of motions within my hip thrusting. Obviously, as blue box is a lot higher, it obviously makes your glutes work even more. Again, I know a few gyms have taken these boxes out because of COVID, so even if you just pick 2 steppers instead, and you can either put 2 on top of each other when the legs on up, or you can fully extend the legs up on the stepper. Make sure you put it against a surface which isn't going to slide. Like as you can see, I always put the box against the squat rack platform so the box doesn't slide whilst I'm doing the activity. And maybe if you do use a stepper, you might want to use a towel or even put a mat on that, just to make it so much more comfortable for you, because at the end of the day, when you are lifting, your back is going to be placed against that and it needs to be comfortable during the exercise. And then you place the barbell pad on the barbell, and then that sits nice and neatly in your hip crease. So you need to make sure that the barbell pad is placed in your hip crease, and when you then bring the barbell up, it then stays in exactly the same position. So your feet. So sometimes with my hip thrusting, I do tend to place my feet in the wrong positioning, but again, there isn't no wrong, there isn't no right, it just works different parts of the body. So yeah, if your feet are too far away from your body, then this is mainly going to be working the hamstrings. But then whereas if you bring your feet closer in, then you feel a lot more work in your glutes. So you kind of need to find your happy ground of where you want to place your feet. So on the odd occasion, I do tend to put mine just in the middle of both, and then I do often change my feet positioning during the different sets. But then during the exercise, your feet do all obviously stay in the exactly same place. And you need to also make sure that you're making a 90-degree angle with your knee bend. So of when you're in full hip extension at the top, you need to make sure that you are at a 90-degree angle. I see so many people who bring the bar too far up, and it's kind of like a momentum, so they're doing it too quickly and they're then arching their back. This is not the correct way to hip thrust. You need to make sure that you're keeping that 90-degree angle and that your back is flat and that you are definitely not arching it. And also head positioning. I used to struggle with this so much, and I did used to swing my head up and down, but recently, the past year, I have been doing it correctly. So your head positioning, you really need to focus on something in front of you. So say if you're doing hip thrusting in front of a mirror, that's great. You can basically just look at your reflection, and you need to keep your chin tucked. It is so important. You need to keep your chin tucked, because when you flare your head back, it then makes an arch appear in your back, and then that then makes your form not correct. So you must make sure, it's kind of like the double chin moment, that's what I call it. Like, I've got so many chins when I keep my chin tucked, but as soon as I look in the mirror and I can see that my chin is tucked, I know that I'm performing that movement correctly. And then one thing which I've seen is so many girls do hip thrusting so quickly. They never hold at the top. They're just doing a momentum, so they're going down, bringing it halfway up and going too quickly. You do not want to do that. You need to hold at the top, even if it's for a few seconds, and you then bring the weight down nice, slow and controlled. If you're just clanging the weights up and bringing it down, you're going to lose your form, you're going to lose your foot positioning. It's all going to go completely the wrong way. So you must make sure that you hold the weight at the top. Usually on my last set, so I usually do 3 sets of 10. So on the 10th rep, I do try and hold it at the top for as long as I possibly can. And then I make sure that I then squeeze my glutes to make sure that I'm getting that extra work put in. Bring the barbell down nice and slowly, and then repeat again for a new set. Right, okay, so the next exercise which you can see that we are going to is banded hip thrusts. Now I tend to always introduce these after I've basically smashed a session of hip thrusting with weight. So all you need for this is a resistant band, and as you can see, you're basically placing it just above your knees, and it's kind of the same form of hip thrusting, so you need to make sure that your feet are hip width apart, and that when you are bringing your hips up, that again they are at a 90-degree angle, and you need to make sure as well that you are keeping your chin tucked. Sometimes I find that I get a bit of a neck ache by going into the exercise straight after hip thrusting. So if you do, just maybe try and take a bit of a rest and then go back into it. But again, by adding a resistance band, it's going to make the workout seem so much more harder. Like, I definitely feel the burn after I've done the resistance, and it's just going to put extra work on your hamstrings and of course your glutes. Right, okay, so now we are moving into resistant band hip thrusting. So as you can see, I have kind of lowered the weight, because after doing 100 kg and my highest at 130 kg, I was kind of really tired after this. So I kind of lowered the weight just to make it my resting set. So as you can see, I've added a resistant band, and I find these to be ever so helpful. It makes you work harder on your glutes, and it makes your glutes burn that so much more. And I kind of find that it helps me keep my movement more controlled, and it feels like it keeps my legs so much more still than just a normal hip thrust in. But again, that's all the resistant band is going to do. It's going to add extra more work just for your hamstrings and your glutes, and after this you're definitely going to feel the burn 100%. Right, okay, so now we're moving into the weighted one-legged hip thrusts. Now, yes, these are definitely a burner. I think I've started introducing these into my workouts a lot more. So you basically choose what leg you want to start with. I always choose with my left leg slightly more forward than my right. So you basically place that foot more in front of the other one, and you're basically doing the same range of motion as a hip thrust. So you need to make sure that your legs are still hip width apart, and that when you're bringing that bar up, you're still keeping that 90-degree angle, and you need to make sure that you're not arching your back. Again, you need the double chin action, as we all know. So just imagine that you're looking at yourself in the mirror, or you're keeping your eye dead straight in front of you, and then you're basically doing the same motion of dropping the weight and then bringing it straight up. Again, if you can hold at the top for a few seconds, it's really going to work your glutes and hamstrings that's so much more, and this is a really effective isolation exercise for helping to build your muscle, and obviously for strengthening in the glutes. Right, and so our final exercise, which I'll be telling you guys about today, is a feet elevated glute bridge exercise. So as you can see, again, I'm using the same box of what I hip thrusted off. Again, if you can't find these boxes, a simple bench will do, or even a step up box, which you're just going to place your feet on. Again, make sure it's against something which isn't going to make you slide, because again, you really need to make your hips go up, and then if there's too much movement, it is going to make the bench fall down. So again, just make sure you guys choose a comfortable bench to do this on. So all this exercise is going to do is to help improve the strength and development again of the glutes. And then basically all you need to do is place 2 feet on the bench as you would do for a normal hip thrust, and then all you are doing is you are then driving your hips up and you're then squeezing at the top, and you're then lowering back down again for the same motion. You need to make sure that again your knees are at a 90-degree angle when you come down, and you need to make sure that there is no momentum, so you need to have it nice, slow and controlled. And then towards the end of this exercise, I also did a few open leg glute bridges, which I often do, of when I pause at the top for a squeeze, and I then open my legs up 10 times just to make me feel that extra little burn within my glutes.